Hello, my name is Brother Sean, and I'm here to share with you another short video in this series, We Are Called To. This short video will reflect on we are called to speak our truth. But what does that really mean for me and for you? Called to speak our truth. Well, as you and I both know, we do live in a beautiful world. It is not an ugly place. Yes, I'm aware, as you must be too, that our brothers and sisters, God's children, mankind, they too have the same choices as you and I have. They've been given the gift of free will, but not many have empowered themselves to step into God's power in their life and to speak God's truth. Allow me share with you. I remember as a young man, a young nursing monk in the Catholic Church, there were many times in community I would see or hear things that would cause me some unrest. On one occasion I remember witnessing a situation that really upset me, and it was between two brother monks. I overheard them in a tirade of abuse. And I guess they were both tired and fractious, but nonetheless, they were hurling abuse at one another. And I found that really difficult. So when it came to our monthly chapter of faults, we had to express in truth, in love, if anything caused us pain, or if we'd seen another brother behave inappropriately. The opportunity was given to me to voice the suffering I was feeling inside my heart for two brother monks I loved, but I could see that there was a rift, a divide, a chasm where neither would look at one another in love, but yet they'd go to chapel and pray together. They'd both go to the Eucharist and receive the real presence of Christ, but in their hearts they had such bitterness towards one another. There was an envy, a restlessness, and some of the community felt it. But I didn't speak my truth. I regret that. I should have done. But I guess I was afraid. I was afraid of being singled out by both of them and become another victim of their gross abuse of charity, because both monks had the capability of destroying you. And that sounds crazy talk. And that's how it is today. When you look at the mighty corporations who own vast lands, when you look at some of the mighty people who have positions of power and to abuse that power, how does one stand up to such people? Well, in prayer, I will hold that person, and I guess it sounds very weak, doesn't it, of me to say, I will pray for them. Sometimes we've to do more than that. We've to step into God's power. Yes, and we have to speak God's truth in us. And I have been given that opportunity on several occasions in my life. And yes, it's not a good place to be in, but we cannot condone offences against charity, and we cannot condone man's inhumanity to man. If we see the perpetrator abusing another, we have a duty of care to speak God's truth in love. And I remember it said in a gospel quote from Jesus, if you have hurt in your heart for another, or in words similar, before you come to the altar to break bread and receive me, Resolve your conflicts with each other. Say sorry. Speak your truth. And I have been in situations where I have accidentally, inadvertently misunderstood what one or two have said to me, and it caused me some inner disquiet. And I was aware that they were hurting because I misunderstood. So when the opportunity arose, as soon as I would greet them and give them a hug, I would ask them quietly to come and let's have a chat. And I would put my arms around them and say, I am so sorry for misunderstanding you, but will you allow me? Will you allow me ask for your forgiveness? And will you allow me give you the opportunity to speak your truth with me? And immediately there is a release. There is a healing force, and it's clearly divine, that encapsulates both of us, and it allows us come back into a place of beauty, a place of trust, and it diffuses a time bomb of anger. Today in this beautiful world, you and I are aware of great atrocities being committed against God's children by tyrannical leaders. And you don't have to go very far to find where they are. You and I both know from the stories of Saddam Hussein what he did to his people. The president of Zimbabwe, what he's doing. And there are many, many more politicians who've lied on oath because they'll do anything for fame. But if you are aware, as I've been aware, we have a duty of care to honor what we're feeling and to speak it. So what I usually do, after much prayer, if I'm guided to write a letter to that particular embassy representing that particular tyrant, I will write a letter in love, expressing my sadness at what is happening. So I'm given the opportunity to step into God's power and speak my truth. And we owe that to ourselves, not to be bludgeoned or pigeonholed and to become a target for other people's wrongdoing. We have a duty of care to the gifts that God has given us and to respect those gifts. And if we know of truth and deny that truth, then we are committing, I believe, one of the greatest crimes of all to ourselves, because we have dishonored the divine in us by not being courageous. Let me explain. A dear friend of mine is living in a loveless relationship where there is violence. They have young children. And she is petrified of her partner. Petrified because he's totally demoralized her. He's a bully. And she tries to placate things by keeping everything running smoothly. But if he's had a drink too many, then he starts on her. And she's afraid of him. And we've tried to support her by empowering her, speak her truth, to stand up to him, to get advice, to get professional help, to share it with the professional people who can do something to protect her and her children. But she's afraid. She's afraid. So in that situation, it's very difficult because that person has a duty of care to themselves. But when you've been so worn down and worn out by that onslaught of negativity and pain inflicted, it's not easy to step into your power and to reclaim your truth. And that's when sometimes professionals have to step in and safeguard the children and the person. So let us pray for one another that if ever we're in a situation where our dignity is threatened and we cannot speak our truth, that divine guidance will protect them. Namaste.